Hello, what up guys? How you doing? It is Lasty here. Welcome today to a new episode of the FIFA 19 Ultimate Team Road to Glory. Episode number 189. We are getting pretty darn close to 200 episodes of this series, which is just mind-blowing to me. But in today's episode, we won't actually be using this squad right here, which is, of course, my latest main team, which is what we are playing the Weekend League with. Going to take a little break from the Weekend League, still play it, but in tomorrow's episode, probably. And in today's one, what we're going to do is unlock this FUT Birthday Zlatan, because, you know, Flashback Zlatan's insane. He's really, really good. And if there's only one thing that could defend against Flashback Zlatan, it's a centre-back Zlatan. So I guess that's why EA have done this. So it's kind of a mad card. And you have to use like an MLS squad to unlock him. You can't use any flashbacks on your subs bench, so that's why Casillas, Pato and Tevez are there. But this is how I would anticipate my squad going actually in-game, because you can use players from other leagues such as the SPL, the Liga NOS, the Eredivisie, and, well, the Liga NOS, I already mentioned that, I guess. But yeah, so I'm going to have Eder Militao, Anderson Talisca and Timothy Weah come on as my three substitutes. And I built like just a fairly decent looking MLS squad. I was able to pick up a few of the players for a decent price. I didn't really want to pay like the 10k for the left back and stuff. So all you got to do is just sort of be a bit patient and hope that someone lists one for a decent price, which obviously they did. And people like Opara, yeah, you can snipe one of them for a lot cheaper than that crazy price that he's going for on the market right now. But it's pretty much the same story as the last time we did online singles. If you go 1-0 down, typically the person against you does the Nat type glitch and bugs out just so that they can get the win, and it doesn't give you a chance to get back in the match, which I hate it. I absolutely hate it. If there's one thing that really winds me up is when people like cheat their way to their win rather than letting the player actually play out to see if he could get back in the game, you know. So I'm totally all for if you want to quit at 1-0 or if you want to quit at 2-0, just because it's a waste of everyone else's time. But I don't like it if someone forces the game to end because they've gone 1-0 up and doesn't give you a chance to get back in it. That's what I really, really hate. So a lot of the time you'll see me go a couple of goals up and then you'll notice that my opponent will rage quit. And that's fine. That's my rule as well, is if I go 2 goals down, typically that's when I'll get out of there. 1 goal, you never know whether it was a kickoff or something, or whether or not you can get back in it or the opponent can get back in it. So I wouldn't quit at 1-0 down. But at 2-0, yeah, fine. I'll move on to the next one. I'll agree that you were the better opponent in that one. Let's not waste each other's time and let's get into a new game. But at least give them the chance to get back into it. I think that's only fair, in my opinion. So you'll likely come up against a few different types of teams this week if you're playing online singles. Obviously, you can come up against the MLS squads, and they have disabled the use of icons, and they've also disabled the use of flashbacks, so you can't actually use flashback Zlatan to unlock centre-back Zlatan, which is fine with me, because it would have been worse, I think, if there were all of those crazy players in it. But there's a couple of loopholes. One, you can use this player of the year, is that what he is? Or award winner, Joseph Martinez, who is incredibly OP against like silver and low rated gold defenses. He's insanely good. He's genuinely like the best way to unlock this Zlatan is to use that Martinez. He's incredibly, incredibly good. And then, like I mentioned earlier, you can bring on a few substitutes. So you can bring on players from other leagues that aren't in the leagues that they've excluded. So you can't use like Prem, Liga and Serie A, blah, blah, blah. But you can go ahead and use like Talisca if you unlocked him, because he's from a different league that isn't actually being like a part of this. So yeah, it's quite good. I actually quite like that. It adds another dynamic. I think they've thought about this one. I think the ones that are a little bit more problematic are the other 2 squads that you could come up against, so the French Ligue 1 and the Serie A, because I believe you could bring on like Ronaldo's and stuff, which I guess is just a little bit Like, if you're using a common squad, which is what this guy's using right here, like, what he's done is he brought on an orange 89 rated Falcao, because you have to start with 11 common players in the other one, in the Liga and the Serie A. But you can do whatever you want, really, with MLS players. So when you come up against a full common team like this, on the bench, they could have other players from that league, or like special items and stuff like that, apart from flashbacks and icons. So you could see like a 99 rated Team of the Year Ronaldo come on, which is probably going to be quite rare, but it will be quite frustrating if you've got a common defense up against a 99 Ronaldo. But what I'm finding is that my players that I'm bringing on are pretty much game changers. You know, Eder Militao in a CDM spot, having Talisca as well. Timothy Weah wasn't amazing, but I just brought on what I had, really. But Talisca and Eder Militao are insanely good subs to bring on for these challenges, because they do boss it anyway, and they're decent players. So I got a question yesterday from Will on Twitter, who asked me, why would I necessarily do the Zlatan challenge if I already have a better version, if I've got the flashback one? And it's because, well, do you know what? I actually really like these challenges. The only annoying thing is when people do the nat type or the connection glitch or whatever it is. That's what I hate about this challenge. Other than that, I really like the slightly more casual feel about it. Like, it's not... with the weekend league, if you go 2 goals down, you feel like a lot of the time people stay in there just because there's a lot riding on every weekend league match. Whereas this one, you could just quit, move on, whatever. It doesn't actually count. There's not like a limit of games you can play. So there is a lot more free for everyone. And I think eventually everyone who goes in for this Ibra will pretty much come out with the Ibra, because they'll just keep playing games all week long until they can get him. Which is what I really like. I love that it's in online singles because of that. Because if it was rivals, it wouldn't be tiered fair. You know, you get the people in Division 1 who just don't care about unlocking this player. All they want to do is use their 99 Ronaldo and their crazy Ruud Gullit and like mega squads and stuff, and that wouldn't be fair for those people. So yeah, like I like that it's in online singles. Maybe for the future FIFAs and stuff, I would love it to be in a mode where it was dedicated servers, because this is peer-to-peer and connection based. But yeah, like, I would love it to be on the better servers, but this is definitely the mode for it as well. So this game right here was actually against a viewer who didn't do the connection glitch as soon as I went 1-0 down, which is I'm very thankful for, and we messaged each other afterwards. So yeah, just props and GG's to you, brother. We had a really good game here, which you can see playing out. He was obviously going for the Naldo CDM, so he was using a League One squad, whereas I have obviously got my MLS team. So it's a bit of a mismatch in squads. Like, he's got a slightly better all-round squad, whereas mine, I can bring on some of those crazy players and stuff, and I had a couple of absolute gems, which would mean that some of my players are worse than his, but then a few of my players are a lot better than what this guy has got. So it was an interesting one to play. Now, I go 3-2 up finally, but then sloppily give a penalty away. This guy was good, you know. There was just... I was really struggling to deal with his possession play and his decent strikers. He had like Jimmy Briand, who I think I might need to bring in for my French League squad later on in the week, because that's like a throwback in itself. And there are just a few players that I really struggled up against. But in the end here, we got the win, 4-3 right at the very end, with Alessandrini, I believe it was, that scored the goal. But yeah, it was a close game. So GG's to you, my friend. That was actually a really good one. A very fun match to play. So at this point, I'm 5 out of 9 away of the way through getting ourselves a Zlatan. So this guy obviously plays champs. He's built himself an MLS squad, but he's got a couple of Redfoot Champions players in there. I don't have any MLS ones, I don't think. I used to have a Valeri 85 rated, but I submitted that in an SBC ages ago. But we push through here, take the shot with Anderson Talisca, 32 minutes in. It was another fairly tough game, but, you know, eventually the deadline is broken, and Talisca breaks through again right here, gets barged over in the box, and that is going to lead to me getting a penalty. So, do I run up with Schweinsteiger? Yes, I do, and I eventually end up going down the middle, sending the goalkeeper one of the wrong ways, and we get the goal from that. So 2-0. I thought I was all good, but then I give a penalty away. He didn't quit, which is, you know, that's also fine. I saved the penalty, and I'm 2-0 up still, and then he gets another go at it, and another go at it, and another go at it, and he still misses, and that's just absolutely nuts. But we push on into the second half. He gets a goal with Vela. Lovely strike. Against a silver goalkeeper, you pretty much just need to shoot as often as you possibly can, and a lot of the balls will fly into the back of the net. But a nice 1-2 between Talisca and Martinez, and it flies in off the bar. That's pretty much a kickoff goal from when he scored his first goal. I then sloppily give it away to Wayne Rooney, who plays it into De Jong. He brought on Frankie De Jong, future stars, which is also another player that would work out brilliantly in this little challenge. And he got his 3-2 goal. And then pretty much from that one, I strike it in off the post this time. It was just loads of kickoff goals from me. It is what it is. You know, once you get through with Martinez, he's so OP that you just take a shot and it flies in against these goalkeepers, man. They're not the greatest in the MLS. So we move on to the next game. We are now, what, 6 out of 9 ways? So we're 2/3 of the way there to getting this Zlatan for free. And we come up against a Serie A squad. Now, it doesn't look that enticing. And I've got to use one of these later on in the week when I go for the players that are available, which is Gervinho and Naldo, right? But they don't look at that appealing when you go into against a common squad. Like, you're not super phased about it. But overall, in total, like, some of their stats are probably slightly more well-rounded than if you are using a few silvers and stuff from the MLS. I eventually go 2-0 up in this game, but again, my opponent decided not to quit. He wanted to play on, which again is fine. But I think once it gets to 3-0 here, he's had enough. And yeah, there you go. You see the pause, and he is out of here. So sometimes it's 2-0, sometimes it's 3-0. If you're lucky, sometimes it's 1-0 when they decide to quit. And if you're unfortunate, you have to play the whole game out, and that's totally fine. If you come away with the win at the end of a full game of FIFA, you've not really wasted any time. If it's a close game, obviously it's going to go all the way towards the end. It's the games which are like, if you're 4-0 up and your opponent doesn't quit, it is a little bit of a waste of both of your time, but at the same time, he's got every right to stay in that match and try and enjoy himself, and I'm fine with that as well. Yeah, so we're 1-0 up in this game right here, and 9 minutes in we get pushed through here to go 2-0 up, and that was against a good opponent who also brought on 3 decent subs, so I was surprised that he quit after 2-0 because I thought that game could have gone the distance. We push into another one right here, full Serie A squad. If there are any gems from these leagues, the Serie A and the Ligue 1, that I definitely need to know about, then make sure you leave a comment down below because I need to pick out the right players to put in my squad. I don't mind paying a little bit more than you know, what they would normally be to get the best players, because they're pretty much going to keep that price for the session that I'm playing to unlock these players, and then I can sell them again at the end of the day. If I lose a little bit of money, it's all good. It doesn't really matter, does it? So we push through, get a second goal here. 3 FIFA minutes. I get 2 goals. And he quits, and that's like the best feeling, because that's as quick as it can be, really. Yeah, so that completes it. We unlock a centre-back version of Zlatan Ibrahimovic, foot birthday card design. That is my first foot birthday card on the road to glory. So I'm excited to have him in the squad. This is another player that I can now use on my subs bench to bring on and use when I'm doing the Serie A one, when I'm doing the Ligue 1 one. I don't know where I'd play him. I might bring him on as a CDM or something. And I know that he could boss his way around the pitch. I think that's a good idea. So maybe him, Eder Militao, and well, who? Talisca probably comes on as well. I don't know. We've got Emre Can that we could use, Carnival version as well. I sold the MLS players and we made a bit of a profit. So I did not pay 9.9k for Lawrence and I did not pay 7k for Opara. They were a lot cheaper for me, but we were able to sell them for that because we got the objective done quickly and there are still a lot of people doing it. So we're able to make profit on those cards, which is a great thing. So these are all of my free objective players that I've got over the last few weeks. Obviously, we got the 3 from Carnival, and we now have Zlatan Ibrahimovic. In the next episode, we'll move on back into the weekend league with this squad right here. I believe I listed up Cruyff to try and sell him because I noticed his price spiked again, just in case, because that means we could pretty much get out for free and not have lost any coins and stuff like that. But he didn't sell, so in the next episode, we will be still using Cruyff in our squad, and I've got a different position for him that I think could work out a treat. Guys, smash a thumbs up on the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Have a lovely day, and I will catch you next time. Peace.